I don't watch reality TV. It's all fake drama. You've heard it. Maybe you've said it. That little declaration that makes someone feel superior, intellectual, above the masses. But here's the uncomfortable truth. People who hate reality TV aren't superior. They're just better at hiding the chaos inside themselves. If you think you're above reality TV, this video will make you uncomfortable. Because the things you judge the most often reveal the things you fear inside yourself. The truth is simple. When you judge a show, you're usually judging a part of yourself. And no, this isn't really a video about television. The public declaration. Why do people announce they don't watch reality TV? You don't hear them declaring they don't watch weather reports or infomercials. But reality TV, that requires a public statement, often unsolicited, usually with a smirk. The co-worker who says, "I don't watch trash like that." The friend who brags, they don't even own a TV. The guy who says, "I only watch documentaries," but hasn't finished a single one. This isn't about preference. This is about identity, the architecture of contempt. In dark psychology, we call this contemptuous self-elevation, establishing superiority by creating an inferior other. Reality TV viewers become the perfect target, numerous enough to make your position feel exclusive, stigmatized enough to make contempt socially acceptable, diverse enough that you avoid direct confrontation. You're punching down while pretending you're punching up. The narcissistic fuel. For certain personality types, this declaration isn't about feeling superior. It's about extracting narcissistic supply. Every announcement is fishing for validation. "Oh, you're so much more intellectual. I wish I had your discipline. You're right, those shows are trash." Each response feeds a deep need for external validation. And like any addiction, the doses must increase. Yesterday, it was reality TV. Tomorrow, it's streaming services. Eventually, anyone who owns a television at all. The lazy identity French sociologist Pierre Bourdieu introduced cultural capital. Certain tastes confer social status. People who loudly reject reality TV are trying to accumulate cultural capital without doing the actual work. They believe that by not consuming something popular, they automatically become sophisticated. But here's the manipulation. They're not creating anything of value. They're simply defining themselves in opposition to others. It's the laziest form of identity construction. Anyone can reject what's popular. It takes actual taste to choose for yourself. And it reveals a fundamental insecurity about their actual cultural worth. The superiority isn't real. The insecurity is. What we reject, we often contain. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we refuse to acknowledge. Reality TV displays, conflict without resolution, emotional volatility, status-seeking behavior, manipulation and social strategy, the desperate need to be seen. Now ask yourself, why does someone react with visceral disgust to seeing these traits on television? The uncomfortable mirror. Because they recognize these traits in themselves and find them intolerable. They hate reality TV for being dramatic. Yet their own life is one long, unspoken argument. If you despise chaos on TV, maybe it's because you're drowning in your own. The person who rails against fake drama is often the same person who creates interpersonal conflicts in their own life, craves attention and validation on social media, engages in constant social positioning, manipulates situations to their advantage. But they've constructed an elaborate defense system to avoid acknowledging this. Reality TV becomes the scapegoat for their own rejected impulses. You don't hate the show. You hate the version of you that the show reveals. Judgment is just fear wearing a mask. The voyeurism paradox. Here's the dark irony. The person who proclaims they don't watch reality TV often engages in more insidious forms of voyeurism. They're the ones who follow celebrity scandals, ironically binge true crime that exploits real suffering, engage in online gossip and social surveillance, watch documentary series that are essentially reality TV with better lighting. The guy who rolls his eyes when Love Island comes on, but starts sweating when his girlfriend reads his messages. The only difference? They've convinced themselves their form of watching is morally superior. The empathy deficit research shows that engaging with lowbrow content without judgment correlates with higher empathy and emotional intelligence. Why? Because it requires suspending judgment, finding humanity in flawed behavior, understanding motivations beyond surface actions. Mocking what others enjoy isn't intelligence. It's emotional rigidity disguised as taste. The person who cannot do this reveals something troubling: an inability to hold complexity, a rigid moral framework, and a lack of empathy for people who make different choices. If reality TV disgusts you, ask yourself whether it's really the show or the reflection. You're not avoiding drama. You're avoiding a mirror, the illusion of immunity. People who proudly don't watch reality TV believe they're immune to manipulation. This is the most dangerous delusion of all. Psychologists found that people who believe they can't be manipulated are manipulated the easiest. Thinking you're unmanipulable is the biggest manipulation of all. Why? Because they've stopped being vigilant. They've convinced themselves they're too smart to be influenced. Because once you think you're above influence, you stop noticing the strings tied to your mind. You think you're above reality TV, but a 12-second TikTok can change your mood, your beliefs, and even your purchases. Meanwhile, they're being shaped by social media algorithms, news framing and selective reporting, their own confirmation biases, the very act of defining themselves in opposition to others, the gatekeeping impulse. When someone declares reality, TV is trash, they're not expressing preference. They're attempting to establish a hierarchy where they determine what has value. This is a micro-expression of a darker impulse, the desire to control what others consume, think, and value. Gatekeeping is just insecurity pretending to be culture. In historical context, this impulse has justified book burnings, censorship, cultural suppression, class-based discrimination. Today's gatekeepers don't burn books. They just laugh at what you enjoy. The person sneering at Love Island isn't rebelling against the system. They're participating in it, maintaining the very structures that may disadvantage them. The manufactured hierarchy society creates artificial scarcity around good taste to maintain hierarchies. By convincing people that certain cultural products are beneath them, we create social stratification, in-groups and out-groups, mechanisms of exclusion. Superiority is just insecurity wearing expensive clothes. Superiority is insecurity with better marketing. The joylessness factor. There's a profound joylessness in people who cannot engage with low culture. They've sacrificed spontaneous enjoyment on the altar of curated sophistication. Every cultural choice becomes a statement. Every piece of media consumed must be defensible in intellectual terms. This is self-imposed psychological imprisonment. And like all prisons, It requires constant vigilance. The walls must be reinforced regularly by publicly rejecting the unworthy, breaking the pattern. If you've recognized yourself in any of this, here's the question: what are you going to do about it? If this is already annoying you, ask yourself why. If this annoys you, good. That means your shadow is listening. The first step is acknowledging that your rejection of reality TV might not be about the shows at all. It might be about your need for validation, your fear of being seen as basic, your projection of rejected parts of yourself. The practice of non-judgment. Try this. Watch an episode of a reality show you typically mock, but watch it with genuine curiosity, not ironic distance. Ask yourself, what human needs are being expressed here? What am I feeling as I watch this? Why does this particular behavior trigger me? What would it mean if I actually enjoyed this? You might discover that your disgust has nothing to do with the show and everything to do with your own psychological defenses. Reclaiming authenticity. I'm not asking you to love reality TV. I'm asking you to stop defining yourself through what you reject. You're not superior for rejecting reality TV. You're free only when you no longer need to. True sophistication isn't about what you reject. It's about the breadth of what you can appreciate while maintaining your own values. The most psychologically healthy people can watch reality TV without judgment, enjoy high and low culture, discuss ideas without proving superiority, find humanity in all forms of expression. They don't need to announce what they don't watch because their identity isn't built on opposition. The moment you stop performing superiority, you finally breathe. Taste doesn't make you special. Awareness does. The greater reality. Liking or disliking a show doesn't make you deep or shallow. Your self-awareness does. This pattern extends far beyond television. The same psychological mechanisms that drive reality TV rejection also fuel political tribalism, religious intolerance, cultural imperialism, class warfare. When we examine our reactions to something as trivial as reality television, we develop tools to examine our reactions to everything else. Your rejection screams louder than their obsession. The final uncomfortable truth. The dark psychology of people who don't watch reality TV isn't really about television at all. It's about how we construct identity in opposition to others. It's about how we use judgment as a shield against our own insecurities. It's about how we participate in hierarchies while believing we're above them. Reality TV is a mirror. It reflects our desires, our fears, our social dynamics, our need for connection and conflict and resolution. The question isn't whether reality TV is good or bad. The question is, what does your reaction to it reveal about you? The choice. You have a choice right now. You can dismiss this entire analysis. Convince yourself that your disdain is perfectly justified and has nothing to do with any of these patterns. Or you can sit with the discomfort. Ask yourself the hard questions. Examine whether your cultural choices are authentic or carefully constructed defenses against being seen as ordinary. The liberation. Here's the twist. The moment you stop needing to announce what you don't watch is the moment you become actually free. You're no longer imprisoned by the need to maintain a curated identity. You're no longer dependent on others' validation of your taste. You're no longer participating in systems that diminish both you and others. You can watch reality TV or not watch it. But either way, it's a genuine choice, not a performance of superiority. people who reject reality TV often live a more scripted life than the people on those shows. People who watch reality TV know it's a show. People who reject it often don't realize they're living inside one. And that's when you'll realize the darkest psychology wasn't in the people watching reality TV. It was in the people who needed everyone to know they weren't. If this made you uncomfortable, good. That means it was for you. The things we reject most strongly often hold the keys to understanding ourselves most deeply.